I want to begin by thanking Serafina and Ken Allen in advance for having me here. Advance is new to me, and I was briefed by Serafina last week, and I'm deeply impressed by the organization and what it does. And I like this Global Australians Global Network symbol or logo or theme that you have. I think there is a lesson for us here with the Indian diaspora to work on. And so we're going to connect you to Serafina operates out of New York. Much of CII operates out of Washington, D.C. So I think it will be easy to connect you, and we will learn from you, hopefully, for India's benefit, and open a new avenue of cooperation between Australia and India with Advance. Thank you, Serafina, for agreeing to do this with us. My institution, CII, where I was, as Howard mentioned, for most of my life, and I personally have a deep commitment to working with Australia because we like Australia, and we like Australians, and we feel very comfortable with all of you. And so it's a double pleasure, really, to be here and to participate in this conference. I see new opportunities. We also see challenges, but let me focus on opportunities which have come because not only because of the natural affinity that we have, but also at the political level. I think the Prime Minister's meetings, the regular meetings of our ministers. I was with Kapil Sibal, our HRD minister, yesterday evening. He's just come back from a great visit to Australia, full of ideas about new opportunities. I've spent time with the team that went to Australia from CII for the promoting the Commonwealth Games, and they went all over the country there. They come back with further new ideas of doing stuff with Australia. And all in all, I can see that we're moving ahead, maybe a little bit slower than we would like. But Simon Crean is here to try and push the envelope even further, and I think later today he'll be speaking on our trade and economic relationship at another forum. I thought I'd talk briefly about 7 opportunities for India and Australia to work together, which are maybe less known or less talked about. So I want to move away from the usual stuff about GDP growth and all of that stuff, which is known and written about and spoken about all the time. So let me begin. My first point is that we from CII, in consultation and in cooperation with the late C.K. Prahlad, who died recently tragically, developed a concept that 500 million young Indians have to be skilled and trained in the next 10 to 12 years. So huge task, huge challenge, but huge opportunity. And you have in Australia organizations which certify, accredit, train people. And I see this as a huge opportunity to work on in a very focused way. So 500 million young Indians is an opportunity for working together in skilling them. And so I would like the Australian side to look at this opportunity differently and to connect with the National Skills Development Corporation, which is a public-private partnership organization here, newly set up, to see how we can take the partnership forward on the skill side. Second, we talk about the private sector, and I want to make 3 points here. The young people of India want to be entrepreneurs. They want to be self-employed. There's an explosion of entrepreneurship and enterprise in India which we have never seen before. And I see it in my own family, with my children, coming from a service family. We see our children wanting to do their own thing and doing their own thing because there are opportunities for this. So look beyond the big names of Indian business, look beyond the big names of Indian industry, and connect with the younger entrepreneurs who are rising in India. And here I would point you to a group called the Young Indians, headed by a young woman called Bhairavi Jani. And there are 1,200 young Indians in this organization, YI. They're doing amazing work in India and with other countries. They've just come back from a mission, a week-long mission in Israel. And I would suggest that somehow we need to connect YI of India with maybe there's a YA or something else in Australia, so that young people, the next generation, can connect with each other. The second part is that the small and medium enterprises, just not the young Indians, but small and medium enterprises, about 100,000 in number in this country, offer an opportunity for connections, for partnership, for doing stuff together in all kinds of ways. So it's not just trade and investment and technology transfer and joint ventures. It could be a whole lot of other areas where they can work with Australian counterparts. So look at the 100,000 small and medium enterprises, and many of them, by the way, are represented by CII, which can help to connect you. And the third part of this private sector point is, you know, the private sector in our country till 1991 was basically in the corner of the room. It was not doing well, it was making substandard products, it was charging high prices, it was consumer unfriendly, and it was not trusted by society. But in the last 18, 19 years, the private sector has come from the corner of the room into the center of the room, because they have grown to manage globalization, competition, and cope with restructuring and changing themselves. So they're playing a much larger part. So between the young Indians, the SMEs, and the totality of the private sector, look at that as a great opportunity, a new opportunity for doing more between Australia and India. My next point concerns public sector. Now this is a much maligned sector in India, government owned, government controlled, government managed, but by the way, they are in very critical industries and they're in strategic industries. So Australia is strong in mining, the public sector is heavily into mining. It's just one example. Many other areas of the economy have a controlling operation by the public sector. So don't neglect them. Keep your eyes focused on them, because there is an opportunity to expand our cooperation with the public sector, many of whom are going through disinvestment, many of whom are going for larger public ownership and are trying to become more competitive. So the Australian community should be looking at the public sector and not ignoring them. Innovation. My next point relates to low-cost products and services made for the 600 million people of India who live in the rural areas. So keep that in mind when you look at India and you will look at Indians. And finally, after many, many years of low self-esteem, low self-confidence, I think today Indians are feeling confident about dealing with all the challenges that we have, and we have every challenge in the world in India. Thank you very much.